I'm Rosco and welcome to EV Marketplace on a Wednesday night. And if it's 6:30 on a Wednesday night, it's got to be EV Wednesday. I don't know if Ludacris feeds back a bit later on, but hey, look, there's plenty of news tonight. What a time to be alive in the world of EVs at the moment. Of course, later on the show, we've got Stan from Kangaroo Island. He's just back from China, care of Zeekr, and he's seen some magnificent things. Absolutely incredible trip to Ningbo, the headquarters of Zeekr. Seen all the latest from Zeekr, and they've got plenty. And of course, there's plenty happening here. And we've got the new car sales figures come out yesterday as well, and they're right up there as well. So we're going to have a closer look at that. Zeekr must be very happy with how they're doing at the moment. So fantastic news. I think it's got to be a record month with new car figures. And of course, some other great news as well on the legislation front on the FBT side. Let's take a closer look at that as well. So that came out, snuck out before the budget. Good news to everybody who's watching, who owns an EV or who wants to lease an EV. It's certainly a big boost, and we'll take a close look at the details on that. But of course, I'm Rosco. You're watching EV Marketplace on a Wednesday night. And well, if you're watching live on YouTube, thanks for joining us. If you're watching live on Facebook, thanks, and catch up. Thank you. And we've got Joe Chin in the house already. Thanks, Joe. Joe's been to China. He knows all about it. But can't wait to see Stan a bit later in the show. Wow, what an experience for the first time. But let's get straight into it. And of course, we got some news in the last 24 hours that, well, there was FBT exemptions on novated leases here in Australia. And if that doesn't make any sense to you, FBT is fringe benefit tax. That's the same in a lot of countries in the world. Novated lease is a type of buying instrument, a way to buy a car, a leasing structure. Over, well, almost 49% of all new EVs in the last couple of years since this legislation was introduced have been purchased through novated leases. So it's a pretty big deal. It's been a pretty big driver of sales and a pretty big driver of financing here in Australia. So news just out before the budget, there was a lot of rumours. There was a review underway, and there were a lot of submissions put in by a lot of different parties about, well, most of them objecting to any changes because particularly up until the last couple of months, sales weren't going that well. And yeah, all that's changed just in the last couple of months, as we know. We'll get into that. But, well, leasing was very popular, and not just in the way that they probably thought, in the higher end and the people earning 100, 150. If you look at the data, and there's a lot of information around, there is a lot of evidence to show that it's probably cost them a lot more than it had. So that was part of the review. Government don't like giving out subsidies. They don't like giving out subsidies to the higher income earners, particularly for things like EVs. The information's there, but we are very pleased because, and this one's come from a great summary from Zeekr, Danny Tai. If you want to have a look at his website, he does some great work on all sorts of things, and we'll have a closer look at that now. No changes in FBT legislation till the 31st of March. So 11 more months and everything is the same, no changes. So, and then there's a phased drawdown or rollback of it over the next couple of years after that, with adding a threshold, then phasing it out altogether. But of course, the important thing that we love, and don't forget, is that the existing novated leases will be grandfathered, which means they're not becoming grandchildren, but they are, and if anyone knows, of course, they are going to, the legislations can continue forward with those that have taken leases out and undertaken leases in their current form. So you don't have to worry about anything, is the bottom line. If you've got a lease, if you've got a novated lease, no changes, they will stay in place. It will only affect anyone taking out a new novated lease. And that's not for another year or 11 months till the 1st of April. I don't know why they have these things, legislated changes on the 1st of April. It's very strange. And of course, the other big factor, don't forget, is that these apply to used EVs as well. And the novated lease FBT exemption came in, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, on the 1st of July 2022. So you've been able to buy a used EV as long as it's qualified under a novated lease as well. Now, that hasn't been as attractive, but it certainly is now. Some of the cars coming onto the market, and certainly for those people that it has been have been taking this up, particularly those earning sort of 70, 80, 90, 110,000, it's a very attractive option. And so used EVs continue to stay attractive, albeit prices a little bit up at the moment. But and don't forget to have a look at Danny Ty's site, zcar.com. He's done all sorts of research, and then there's a great summary here, and he has covered it in full, the drawdown phases, the key points on what it means. And he's also got some links in there to some of the data from the ATO. I won't go into it tonight too detailed, but it's been a roaring success, and they were very keen for it to stay in place. And when I say they, everybody in the used and new EV industry. And big thanks go out to everybody who's put submissions in to keep this in place. And there's been a lot of work going on behind the scenes. The Electric Vehicle Council, lots of other lobby groups have put submissions forward as part of this review. The government didn't wait to the budget. They didn't wait till didn't review this for a long time. It was an open-ended review period, but they've made it very clear that they are in full support of EVs through mechanisms like this. So if nothing else, it sends a fantastic signal, even though the market has been up in the last couple of months, a fantastic signal from the government that they've got full support, and all the policies are in unison towards supporting EVs now and for the next 2 or 3 years, particularly through this sort of mechanism. So great news. Check out Danny Ty at Zcar. He does a lot of work, and he's also got a section up here, offers and deals. Check that out, because he keeps track of a lot of the new car deals that are happening as well. Zeekr X MY26 launch offer premium grades. Zeekr X has just been upgraded. And if it sounds like a Zeekr love fest tonight, it is because Zeekr did stand to China. We are big fans of Zeekr. They've done really well in the new sales charts. It's all come together for them tonight. So, yeah, we've spent a lot of time on Tesla in the past, but we're not being paid by them. We're not sponsored. But just it's all come together tonight. But keep an eye out for that site. And Danny does some great work comparing deals and general resources and news, a lot of news on EVs. Fantastic site. But of course, the great thing is we have had a record month. Well, it's got to be a record month. It's 16.46% of new car sales for the month of April 2026. We thought it might just have been a spike in March. It's carried forward to April in the most magnificent way. Incredible numbers prima facie. It's bigger than the previous month by a couple of percent. Interesting though also, and if you look behind the scenes at overall sales were down considerably, probably by at least 10% in the month of April, overall new car sales. So here we're talking new cars, we're talking 16.64% of new car sales were pure EVs. A lot more diversification in the brands as well. And of course, we did a bit of research as well, and you can check out yourself, but not unexpected in a time of oil spikes. It's happened before. There's some correlation and some work done overseas. We might get a chance to have a look at where there has been oil spikes in the past and oil shocks. There has been a correlation, increased used car sales and decrease in new car sales. So not totally unexpected, although, yeah, probably the amount and the swing towards EVs was a blindside. Something there that wasn't on our bingo card, that's for sure. But my word, and what we're talking about is the top 10 here. Put the spectacles back on again to have a look at this one. This is a bit unfair because it shows the year-to-date numbers, but of course for the month of April, Model Y was well down. They seem to come in waves and deliver more at the end of the quarter, whereas C-Line 7 for April 1780, and of course Zeekr X873. So look, Zeekr X done, is third overall for the year. 7X is third overall. EX5 doing really well as well. Atto 2, Kia EV5 as well already. Amazing. JQ J5, again, come from nowhere. A lot of those around. Model 3 a little bit further down the pack. Atto 3, incredible, keeps selling. Unchanged for almost, well, slight revision, but basically unchanged. Well, that's not a few upgrades, but same shape it was 3 years ago. And Atto 1, of course, the brand new baby. Atto 2 hasn't featured there. Oh yeah, Atto 2's way up the list, number 5. So yeah, that's why BYD is doing so well. I think second overall as a manufacturer in Australia, or an OEM in Australia. Absolutely incredible result. BYD, congratulations to them across their whole portfolio. Of course, a lot of hybrids and a lot of electric in there as well. But yeah, there's some standouts there, as 7X is really taking on the Model Y now, and C-Line 7 really solid. So again, it's about consistency, about delivering results. And if you want to have a look at what really impressed me about some of the lower numbers, and was the diversification, I guess. Some cars that really haven't had a look in, hard to read. Do your best. There's the top 10 there that were summarized on the previous one, but just incredible that I guess a few cars that, and this is interesting about what has happened in the last month or so for me. G'day, Hal. Good to see you here. Thanks for joining us tonight. Just getting into the top 10. EVs, 16.64% total EV penetration for the month of April. Absolutely outstanding. It's got to be a record month. About the same number of cars as it was in March, but because new car sales were well down, the percentage was higher. I think check out Canberra as well. They were something like, they're normally 25%. It was something like 35% in the ACT of pure EVs, pure new sales, something like 35%. So they're on board. But yeah, we're starting to see, we saw a lot of cars that perhaps hadn't been that popular and hadn't really gained a lot of traction. And I'm talking about Subarus, and I'm talking about Toyotas, I'm talking about VWs. Cars that perhaps hadn't done that well are now suddenly starting to do a lot better. This is the overall brands, and here's the overall models themselves. Cars like ID4, which, yeah, probably had been sitting around for a while, and it's tipped a lot of people who perhaps were traditional fans of some of these OEMs over the edge, and that's a great sign. Just good to think that there's over 30,000 new EVs, and great for the used market too. We're looking forward to a few more coming onto the market a bit later in the year. There's still knocked a bit of a dent in the used EV market at the moment. Stocks are well down. Prices are up a bit, but we'll get to that very shortly as well. Cars that perhaps weren't doing as well, ID4, even Mercedes, ID Buzz hadn't done that well. So cars that really hadn't had a lot of favour, Mini Aceman, Cupra Tavascan, cars that perhaps hadn't had a lot of favour. C10 was down, Ioniq 5, even up again, Enyaq. Everything's up. So people that was fans of these brands, obviously looking for a reason, suddenly they jumped out. And the great thing about this list, this top 100 now, incredible diversification. And yeah, this is a concentration at the top and those that are doing well. But yeah, some of the OEMs would be pleased that they got some favour and got some sales on some of these other models down the track. ID Buzz, suddenly 140 sales and some keen pricing there as well. Really pleased overall that bigger diversification. Subaru, Solterra, new model, 175 sold. Fans of those brands have got something to choose from, and there's no excuse. They're jumping in now, and that is a very good sign. Just really thrilled to see the diversification, really thrilled to see the great number, 30,000 new buyers, and really good to see some of the results now. And we've had a look here, of course, at the local market. And yeah, this one we had a look at over the weekend, and just trying to get a handle on this used car market here in Australia at the moment. Don, good to see you tonight. Thanks for joining us, everybody. 15 people watching. If you haven't commented, you want to chat, get in part of the conversation. We don't bite too much. Have your say, have a comment. Hal's got an update on Xpeng. We've been having an ongoing Xpeng expose. Is that what you could call it? An expose on Xpeng, Hal? Xpeng released court documents. Looks like it's in their favour, but True EV do not have the funds to finalise the case. Yeah, that's right. If you go to court, rule number one, unfortunately, is make sure you have enough money to pay the lawyers, no matter. Or if you're going to go to court with someone, make sure, and you do win, make sure that they're going to pay you. But anyway, that's our Xpeng expose. Thanks. And Don, looks like people are staying away from Xpeng G6. Yeah, only 24. I did brush over that on purpose. So until they resolve it, that is one that is going to be a work in progress, particularly, I'd say, until the new model gets out. And then maybe everyone will be back on the bandwagon. But here's Ryan's Model Y. And again, first thing I note is that the price is probably down about 4K from what it was over the weekend. He had it listed. This is Ryan. Geez, I should know his surname. Ryan Cowan. He's got about 250,000 more subscribers than I have. He's bought the YL and didn't do a trade, obviously, but he had it listed for about the same as what you could buy a brand new one for. But you can have this one right now with 10,000 Ks on it. So he's dropped it 4Ks. Hopefully, we'd like to start to see some. Look, I think Geely will be the next, not just a dark horse, but the white horse. I think someone else I was watching last night tipped that Geely and BYD will be the front runners. And I'm not. I guess Geely. Let's include all brands in Geely. With their suite of product, they'll easily get to 1/3 of the market, I'd say, without too much problem at all. So I'm with you on that one. Probably more like a white horse than a dark horse. But yeah, Tesla delivering in batches, not much last month. There's a few deals floating around, bit of noise out of Tesla, but nothing obvious. Trades a little bit better apparently, but this one down, and that's still indicative for us here at Amazing EV. And do not forget, without Amazing EV, we do not have a show. You can list for free. We're still down on stock. We're having a very interesting time where the used EVs have been going and selling really well, still getting some good notes in the last couple of weeks about people selling really well with some pretty high prices that I've seen. And yeah, I'm questioning whether that's the right time. If it looks like a bubble and smells like a bubble, maybe it is a bubble, but we'll go back to Ryan dropping his pants out. Complaining that Tesla offered him 10K less as a trade. I haven't seen. Yeah, I didn't watch the video, but I'm not surprised. They're nowhere near. I have a feeling that this market is a bit of a bubble at the moment. And we're working for buyers and sellers, and if it smells like a bubble and looks like a bubble, you don't want to be the last one buying at the top of the market. So. Yeah, I think dealers are chasing them hard. I think it's pushing the price up on the used car market. I think it's challenging if you're a buyer on a used car at the moment. We've still got that situation where the new cars are getting cheaper and better deals and doing really well. I'm sure they did some good deals on a lot of those cars before they realized the demand was so high. And the used cars are going up, and there's still checking some of the stocks the stocks just aren't there at the moment. One of the side effects I've noticed is people are just deciding to hang on. With all the great news about EVs, if you were sitting on the fence about whether the EV was good for you, suddenly you might have decided to keep it and taken it off the market as well. So that's an interesting side issue that not only is there less stock, not only are the cars sold quicker, not only are their EV used sales up, but yeah, I think that people in some ways might have decided if they were thinking about selling, they might have changed their minds. So time's moving on. I've got to get to Stan. We've allowed plenty of time for Stan tonight. We will move on quickly. But yeah, hopefully that changes around. If you've got anyone that you know looking to sell, we are helping anyone with a free listing at the moment to try and get our stocks back up, and just sort of sitting back and waiting to see what this market does. Yeah, I'm not sure if 61, but yeah, we'll keep tracking this one until we'll see what Ryan. So I did invite him to, and I did reach out to him to ask him if I could help, but to no avail. So big fans, big supporters, big subscribers. So we will move on and because very shortly I have got Stan Gorton coming up direct from China. He was lucky enough to go over and have a look. We'll let him tell you about it. And let's get straight into the intro. Stan, welcome back. Good to see you again. Where are you first?
Fireworks. I'm back on Kangaroo Island. I've been back a week, and yeah, the difference of it coming back to Kangaroo Island straight from Shanghai. There's 23 million people in Shanghai. There's 5,000 people on Kangaroo Island, so my head was spinning a little bit. But yeah, absolutely fantastic trip.
Worlds apart, and yeah, let's just jump straight in. What took you over to China?
So Zeekr was kind enough to, it was called the Light and Convergence Tour, China Tour, and they invited about 20 of us. So there were some of their top dealers from the different cities, and they've been working so hard lately. I've worked off their feet.
Yeah.
So the cars are just flying out the door, basically. But yeah, so there were dealers. There were some lucky people that had won competitions at the events that they've had,
That's nice.
and there were some of us that have do the social media Facebook pages, and lucky old me. So not sure why I was there, but I was very lucky to be there. So I guess they appreciated some of the work that I've done on my YouTube channel. And yeah, I was one of the first buyers, very early buyer, and switched from Polestar, and was singing the praises of the car early on. So yeah, I've just just really wanted the latest and greatest, basically. So
take us,
but yeah, there were.
Take us back a bit.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got a bit of time. So take us back. Then you chose the 7X. You had the Polestar 2. How's it been after a couple of months? Just a quick comparison. We're always keen on hearing this story. It's always nice to go through the new car buying process. There's a few unknowns, of course, and then after a few months, the reality sets in. So how's that been for you?
Yeah, it was an interesting transition. I did really love my Polestar too. It was a fantastic car. I reluctantly let that one go. It's found a new home, which is really nice. The new buyer's loving it, so she bought it just at the right time. She lucked out in terms of the pricing and all that, but she's absolutely loving it. So yeah, I did the lap in the Polestar. I did numerous trips. I put 60,000 Ks on it. I had it just over 2 years, and then I just thought, well, I want something new. I want to try something new, and the Zeekr stood out to me just because it has so many features.
Yeah.
I basically had what I call the poverty pack in the Polestar, where I bought it for the long range, which was great for the road tripping. And actually, I don't have range anxiety anymore.
No.
That's why I got the performance model, because I wanted just all the bells and whistles.
Yeah.
And the 7X comes with just, so much, everything from air suspension, huge 650 horsepower, all-wheel drive, massage, ventilated, heated seats. I got the fridge in it. And so I just wanted like everything in there. And so it stood out to me when I went and had a look at it and put my order in I was there on the day one that the Adelaide showroom opened.
Yeah.
Put my order in, and then I took about 4 months, and it came the end of December. I picked it up in January, and look, to be honest, it was a bit of a learning curve just because I loved the Polestar so much, and I'd done so many things in it. But yeah, so the Polestar tows a smaller, kind of a sportier car, whereas the 7X is a bigger car, which is also what I wanted. I wanted a bigger car for my road trips.
Yeah.
Me and Twiggy. Twiggy's the real star of the show.
Remind everyone on YouTube, Stan's got his own channel at KangarooIslandTV, and multiple road trips around Australia with the Polestar, and a few trips around KI, as we call it, Kangaroo Island, with the Zeekr 7X already. And so, yeah, with Twiggy the dog as well. We got a question. Where is Twiggy the star of the show? So where's Twiggy now,
I
Stan?
think she's probably on the couch, I think, but maybe before the end of the show we can have a bit of a sneak appearance of Twiggy.
Yeah.
Twiggy's my border collie. Yeah, she's the real star. I always do plug share and always check in and do a photo with plug share. So she's always in all the plug share photos and in all the videos. And anytime I post anything on any of the Facebook pages without Twiggy, I get into big trouble. It's like, where's Twiggy? So
Yeah.
she's the big star of the show, like I said. But
Right.
yeah, so I had a great time with the Polestar. Yeah, I'm a huge EV advocate. That's what I'm all about. And so the Zeekr seemed like the next trend, like it was the
Did
natural
you
progression.
Here's one. Did you love the shape and the style of the 7X from the minute you saw it? Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic looking
Yeah.
car, isn't it? I mean, it looks pretty sexy.
Mrs.
For
Amazing's
being
a
an
fan
S,
as well. Mrs. Amazing's a fan as well. She likes it as well.
yeah, well,
So.
Mrs. Amazing's got good taste, I can say that.
All right.
But yeah, it's a great package. It looks fantastic. I think it looks fantastic. It's got those orange brake calipers, and yeah, there's yeah, that was one of the things that it was both inside and out that kind of sold me on it.
I mean, you're not just an. You're not just an. For those that don't know, Stan's not just an EV advocate and a Zeekr owner. You are a journalist. So you were. It was. There is a media capacity to this trip as well, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, in terms of the whole Zeekr thing, we're very small paper, so
Yeah.
I
You
do
can
have
give it
the
a
full
plug.
attention of
You can give it a
yeah,
plug.
full
That's all right.
attention. The Islander, the Islander. So I do have the full attention of Kangaroo Island, and I'm kind of known as the EV guy on Kangaroo Island. So since the whole EV thing's blown up,
That's
yeah,
good.
I've had numerous people come and
All right.
interview or ask me what to get, and just one of the tour guides has got an EV5 now. So
That's
yeah,
good.
people
All
are
right.
excited about it. And I did a check by the rego numbers, and there's actually over 50 EVs registered on the island now. So I mean,
Oh,
that's pretty
that's
damn good.
very. You're on the way. You're on the way. You're on the way. So, how many people would
Yeah.
qualify? Would you think would have a license? How many people would be old enough to drive?
Or I don't. I mean, there's only 5,000 people on the
Yeah.
island. Obviously, includes kids and
All
everything.
right.
But
So there's a bit of work.
and I don't know how many. I haven't actually. That'd be a good thing to see the percentage wise. But I mean, we are a very rural area, right? So it's
Yeah.
not like a lot of
It's beautiful.
utes and Land Cruisers and stuff like that. But to have that many EVs, I think is good. We've always been somewhat progressive. We had EV chargers here a long time ago that the
Yeah.
council put in.
That's good.
Um,
Check out.
so that
Check out on the map. Check out on the map Kangaroo Island. About how many 250 k's as the crow flies south of Adelaide, something like that. So
yeah, it's about a 2-hour drive and then 45 minutes on the ferry, or
all
maybe
right.
a 3-hour drive. But yeah, so we're actually quite close to Adelaide, but
Yeah.
it seems like a world away.
It's great.
Yeah, we're the South Island, and then we call the top the North Island, basically. So it
And
does
then
feel like it's.
Zeekr rang up one day and said, "Hey Stan, would you like to go to China?"
Yeah, I mean, I've been working with them fairly closely and chatting to them and letting them know what I've been doing. With that, Zeekr is actually really good with their customer service. They've been
Yeah.
having launched owners events. So I was asked to attend an owners event. I went to the grand opening of the showroom in Adelaide, which was lovely. That's where they did the launch of the all black 7X, and then the very next night was the owners function, which they've been having in each state. But the South Australian one was at the winery, and they asked me to give a bit of a talk there. So that's when I met some of the people in the Zeekr hierarchy, and so yeah, it kind of stemmed out of that, and they knew that I loved the car and had a bit of influence on the channels and stuff like that. So.
These after sale initiatives are fantastic, particularly for a newish brand, and just get involving people to build a community. That's fantastic, and particularly Adelaide. It's probably not their biggest market, but as long they're focusing on it. They've got a dedicated showroom for Zeekr down there now. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got. I don't want to speak out of, but they've got like at least one in every city. Like in Melbourne and Sydney, they've got 3 or 4. You know, so they really are pumping up the volume. And we met with we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves now, but we did have a meeting with the vice president of Zeekr, and they're fully committed, and they're going to up the numbers in terms of shipping them out here. So they've been they are committed, and I think you're right. I think Australia is a bit of a test market for them, and they just announced that they're going into North America, into Canada. They've been in Europe. They're about to go into the UK. So, and they're all through Asia, like Thailand. Places like Vietnam.
Let's jump on a plane. Let's jump on a plane and let's get to China. So this group here. So this was the crew.
Yeah, so that's the crew. Certainly was a trip of a lifetime for us. So it was 3 days, and so that shot there is at the Geely Safety Centre where they crashed the cars. So that was our first place that we visited. That's all of us Aussies being a bit of larrikins. We all jumped in that model and were shouting Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. So
how many Aussies there? How many Aussies and how many?
It was about 20 of us.
Okay, all Australia.
That's pretty much all of us there. All from Australia. Okay, from all around Australia. So Zeekr did try and get someone. There were a couple of people from Perth, a couple of people from South Australia. From every state, at least a couple of people there. Yeah. And so that's there at the crash centre where we didn't actually see a crash happen, but they talked us through how they all do it and how committed they are to safety, and certainly get the 5-star NCAP rating for all their cars.
And then take us through this one. Did they show you anything secret behind the scenes that you weren't allowed to photograph?
I'd tell you, but I'd have to kill you, really. So. No, they were fully open. It was amazing. Like they were very open. They took us through everything. We weren't allowed to take any footage or cameras inside the actual factory. Yeah. So this is at the factory. So as soon as after the crash center, we went to the factory. There was actually one of 5 factories. So they have 5 factories in Ningbo. And this particular factory was producing 001s, 009s, which is their minivan, the big luxury van, which you can get here. Polestar 4s, which is also Polestar is part of the Geely Zeekr factory. So it's really interesting to see both the 001, which is kind of like their Halo original sporty sportback, being produced on the same floor as the van and the Polestar 4. And that's the basic platform, the SEA platform that is used for all of those cars, including the 7X. So I was a bit miffed that we didn't actually go to a 7X factory, but that was one of the other 5 ones. They call them dark factories because supposedly it's so automated and robotic that they could turn the lights off. Having said that, in that factory there were 850 robot arms and 150 workers, and so it wasn't really a dark factory, but there were robot arms doing all the welding, and there were these little robots running around carrying spare parts to all the workers. So it was really impressive.
You hear stories about how futuristic it is. So you saw the factories in operation?
We saw the factory working, and we just rocked up, and the people were all heads down working, but we're all giving them peace signs, and they're really friendly, and they were happy to see us. And that factory can do 1,200 cars a day. So that just shows you the volume of it. Just insane.
Did you see the battery construction or the battery assembly? Did you see part of that? Or were they full packs by the time they were
so Zeekr uses CATL batteries. They do have the golden brick one that they do in-house. Yeah. But no, I think that's done quite separately. We saw the batteries being installed, which is quite fascinating because they just come along a little like assembly line and then get pushed up. Yeah. The wheels get put on by robots. They just automatically get pushed on. And then it was really interesting to see. We didn't go into the paint shop, but we went to like the final where they do all the checks, and there were there were a lot of people just crowding around each car, going over little, looking at panel gaps and like huge lights shining on there to see what it was. So they could see, and then they did like a rumble strip where they run it over a rumble strip so it shakes the car, and that was really interesting to see that whole. The factory was definitely one of the highlights, and being a privilege just to be shown through there. So.
I'm going to backtrack a little bit, and we may not have mentioned that you were flying from, well, all the way from Kangaroo Island to Ningbo, right? So I got a little map up here now showing, I think, the head office in
So
the downtown. Take us, and then that's in relative to South Korea. Taiwan's down the bottom. Absolutely amazing, right?
so it's all roughly in the Shanghai area. Roughly, I say it's like a 2-hour drive. 2 or 3 hour drive from Shanghai. I mean, China's a big country, so we actually, the first day we were in Ningbo, where the factories are, and the crash center, and then that night in Ningbo we went to the global launch of the 8X, which has coincidentally happened, which is their new super hybrid,
which is
has like 1300
hybrid.
Yeah. It's interesting, when we spoke to the vice president, we asked whether they were going to do the 8X and 9X as pure BEVs, and he said, yeah, they had intentions of doing that. But even in China, I think hybrids there's a niche, there's a certain portion of the market that wants it, and it's a super hybrid, so that's quite different than a normal plug-in hybrid, where the petrol motor just kind of adds to the power, essentially. So
it's like an E-Rev, is it? Yeah.
Essentially, like an E-Rev. I've got 1,300 horsepower, and it's like so the 8X launch was crazy because that was a global launch, but it was aimed at the Chinese market. There was only a small group of foreigners there. They didn't invite any foreign media,
and including you guys. Yeah,
there was just a small little group of these 10 rowdy Aussies that were there, lucky to be there, landed there. It felt quite surreal, but there were all these Chinese influencers doing live streams. And it was interesting, like there was 20 of them all outside in front of the cars, and they had like 2 phones because they were doing a live stream and then taking orders on the other phone, because I guess they get like referrals and stuff. And Zeekr took 10,000 orders in the first 30 minutes for that car. So it's certainly a big part of their whole stable of cars. That was in Ningbo that night. That was an amazing thing to see. And then the next day we went to Guangzhou, which is actually that's about an hour or two drive away from Ningbo, and that's where Zeekr headquarters are. And that's Zeekr Tower, which is the second tallest building in Guangzhou. Guangzhou is, like, they call it an A-tier city. It's one of like the top 10 cities in China. So that's a 54-story tower. So it just shows you that Zeekr's not mucking around, right? Like it's a big entity to build a 54-story tower like that.
And that's Guangzhou. Is that on that map?
Guangzhou. So that's where we went the second day. We rocked up there. We went straight down to the basement, and we saw the robotic charging arm, which was amazing.
Wow.
So that basically, the car rocks up there, and it doesn't need to park necessarily, in the exact location. The robot's smart enough to work out where the car is and speaks to it, and the charge flap opens up. One common question is, well, how does it work if you have the plug in there? But in China, they don't actually use the plug. So I know
the little rubber thingy,
a little rubber cap thing. So I think it's okay just to rip that off, really. Technically, it doesn't need to be there. But and then the robot comes down and it goes in and then speaks to the car. This particular car was the 007, which is the sedan version. The cars in China, we don't get it in Australia because of the regulations, but there the front light bar lights up, and you can just see. So there it's saying that it's at 33% and that it's charging at 400 kilowatts or whatever. So that's pretty cool that you can see what the car's charging at as it's doing it. So that was amazing. One bit of breaking news is that Zeekr is committed to actually bringing charging to Australia. Not robotic charging, but they're keen to actually roll out chargers because they see that as something that is necessary. There's other brands that are kind of leading that front, but BYD said they're bringing flash charging. But Zeekr is definitely interested in bringing fast charging. So don't be surprised to see like a Zeekr charging station on between Sydney and Melbourne at some point. They certainly have intentions for that.
That's great. That's great news. That's good because it's all part and parcel of the whole experience now, and it's really important the brands get behind that as well, right?
Yeah, it's a big big part of the puzzle. It's all very well to have so many more EVs on the road, and most people charge it at home, to be honest, particularly in Australia where most people have a driveway. But if you go on road trips and I'm just about to attempt my second lap, it's really important to have fast charging, particularly on those really busy highways and remote areas too. So that I think we all were very heartened to hear that Zeekr has intentions to do that. So, and particularly since their cars are pretty much all 800 volt architecture, we definitely need more of those 800 volt chargers. Yeah, and then we went. Rosco, I can't hear you.
Got it. Yeah, the 7X is not the 7X is not 800, is it? It's 400.
Yes, it's 800.
800.
It's 800. It's one of the fast. It's pretty much the fastest. It's the fastest charging car you can buy in Australia at the moment.
Which means it takes on juice a lot faster, so you can get more in quicker, right?
16
Just as an aside, it is compatible with the Tesla supercharging network.
It is compatible, but because Tesla charging is 400 volts and there needs to be a inbuilt adapter, it only charges up to 80 kilowatts.
That's okay.
So, but all the other ones, the ones like Ampol ones that do 400, it can do those. So. If you're pulling up to one of those and you got 10%. The other thing that I noticed with my Zeekr is, even though we only really have 150 kilowatt chargers here in South Australia, it doesn't have a curve. It just ramps out at 150 the whole way, all the way up to 80.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, because most cars really have a curve and drop down, even Tesla, right? But the Zeekr, I think because it's got such big capability, it just it just sucks it up the whole way. There's no real charging curve, which is impressive.
As long as there's a sort of a minimum for me at Tesla, you're right. It starts off, it ramps up, it can spike out at 150, but then it starts to fall back again. So your average is probably still sub 100, which, I mean, I'm not a charger speed counter myself. I'll just stay however long I want to stay, take what I can get, but. Yeah, you're quite right. That's nice that it's got more of a flatter profile to that charging curve, because the Tesla does peak out and then come back down again. So the average is probably about the same. So you never know. But it doesn't bother me. This is the 007, that we're looking at?
Yeah, that's the 007, which is the sedan version. Yeah. Zeekr says that they're not really going to bring that to Australia because there's not much demand for a sedan. But they are hoping to bring out the 001, which is kind of their halo car.
Yeah.
So when the new completely refreshed version of that comes out, they might call it the 008 or whatever they're going to call it.
Yeah.
But that'll be the super insane one that competes with Porsches and everything like that. It has the FR model has four electric motors on each wheel. It does the crab turning and all that. So we won't get the 007, but we'll probably get the new Halo one, which is the 001.
This one, they might have had this one at the EV show in Sydney last year. It was look, I mean,
it was the yellow one. It was the yellow one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, and at that stage, look, fair enough. But maybe now, different times, it'll be very interesting. I wouldn't like to be it's very tough being a car manufacturer and importer, trying to work out which market. They're all in hybrids probably 3 months ago, but now all of a sudden it's full on EVs again. So it's a tough market to try and work out what next. But stay with EVs. That's what we think. So anyway, it would be a good idea. Don says it would be a good idea to have a robotic arm for your home charging. Give it about 5 years, Don. I have no doubt, and you'll just better drive it in. I'm a fan of the underfloor induction pad, wireless pads as well. I think that'll be the go in future, where you just drive under a wireless induction pad on the floor and just leave it there. And you may not be as fast, but for overnight charging, it'd be fine. But I think another brand's got one of those, but we'll leave that tonight. But nice looking car, and we did miss and we haven't skirted around the biggest EV show on the planet. Stan didn't get a chance. Beijing is a reasonable distance away from the Ningbo, Shanghai area. Did you think about adding that on, Stan, at the end, or not in the end?
Yeah, I was sorely tempted, but my boss wouldn't have been very happy. Actually, I had to get back and put the paper out because I am taking a whole month off next month to do the lap. So
Okay.
I could have maybe just stayed in China, but yeah, the laps is my next big thing, and yeah, it would have been. I'd love to go back to China, and it alternates between Beijing and Shanghai. So who knows? Maybe Shanghai next year might be on the cards. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, that's on my. I mean, that's on my list too. There was a ton of videos come out. There's plenty of content for anyone wants to watch. We haven't skirted around it on purpose, but it's just that we don't have time tonight. There's hundreds of cars, and that Zeekr 8X was the highlight as well. Different. That's what I had Dan Caesar on last week from Everything Electric. He went there. They went for 3 or 4 days. Him and his crew, just to have a look, just to see what, just overwhelmingly big this time. Huge new display center, exhibition center in Beijing. Just really, we all thought it was big last year, it was just overwhelming this year, and hundreds more new cars. So plenty of content online. Sorry I didn't get there, but you had plenty of highlights as well. So the Ningbo to you did take you did take a small trip on the end, or after the tour of.
Yeah, so I just at Guangzhou, after we looked in the basement, we went up to the 54th floor and had another banquet meal. Zeekr, I mean, that was many.
Which looked something like that. Actually, that one there. There you go. There we go.
Amazing. We were treated so nicely, and that's, if you just see in the background, you can see we right at the very top of that tower, having a banquet meal, which was just like mind-blowing kind of thing. And then another highlight was we went into like the conference room and met with the vice president of Zeekr, which, I mean, again, was a huge privilege. Talk about a busy man, right? But he wanted to hear us from firsthand some of our experiences, what we liked, didn't like, what we wanted. And so we got to speak to him directly about some of the, what we'd like to see. And he said, he committed to their big expansion plans about how they're going to go into North America and how they want to focus on the customers and all the rest of it, what some of their plans are. So that was a huge privilege. And then we went to, had like a cultural experience. We went to Chinese theater that night. And then the next day, day 3, was our last day. We toured around West Lake in Guangzhou, which is just like a big lake. So that was on a boat. That was a nice day to relax kind of thing. And then we went to the first ever Zeekr showroom, because Zeekr obviously has come from Guangzhou, and that was their very first showroom. And there I am there, and that's the new.
So that's that's the very first Zeekr showroom ever. Yeah.
Yeah. That was where they first launched the brand and first started selling the cars.
And whereabouts was that again? Whereabouts was that again?
That's at Guangzhou, just the short distance from that tower.
Wow.
So it's all kind of in that big city. And Guangzhou is a huge city. It's like one of the massive cities in China. So that's the 7GT or the 007 GT. They're not allowed to call it 007 in Australia for copyright reasons, obviously. But we are getting that 7GT here in Australia later this year. That's actually the R model, which is like their sportier one.
Yeah.
We're not slated to get that one just yet, but there's a lot of interest in that in the GT. It's basically a station wagon. So that in the background you can see that's the 7X there.
Yeah.
They're basically the exact same platform. So that's the new one, that 900-volt architecture one, and the R-Type, the R Sport model. So we're all very excited to see those. And then we rounded it up with another lovely dinner with Frank Lee, the head of Zeekr Australia. He'd come over for the Beijing Auto Show, and there was another Geely conference. And
I've got another random dinner there. There's another random banquet there.
Amazing. Yeah, just endless food and hospitality. And we stayed in lovely hotels, and we were all being chauffeured around in the 009 vans, which are like pretty, like they've got captain seats in them. And I am on my way to Shanghai. I'm wearing my representing Kangaroo Island
All right.
So
So the official tour wrapped up with Zeekr, and then you took another couple of days, yeah, from Ningbo to Shanghai, yeah.
yeah, so I thought I'm going all the way to China.
Yep.
It's actually my first time leaving the country in 25 years. Some bit of a country bumpkin. So I thought, hey, I've always wanted to see Shanghai. So Zika was very kind enough to change the flight so I could fly 3 days later out of Shanghai. I paid for my own accommodation, obviously, in Shanghai, but that was another amazing experience. I stayed in a really nice hotel and just got around the city on bikes and on the ferries, and
it's amazing.
Went to a few other car showrooms and enjoyed the food. And like I said, Shanghai is 23 million people. It's different than Kangaroo Island, but I was really impressed with China. Actually, you don't need a visa to go there.
We were going to play. We were going to play spot the EV in this photo, right? This was on the way from Ningbo to Shanghai, yeah.
This was actually, I think it was Ningbo to Guangzhou when we were just being toured around. So I was going to ask the viewers if they could guess the brands of cars and how many EVs in that photo. I won't hold them to it, but basically in China, all the EVs in all the different states and cities, it's standardized throughout the country. They have green number plates. So if you know they have green number plates, you know that they're EVs. And my perception was roughly about half the cars were EVs.
Yeah.
And so in that photo itself is a good example because you can see pretty much all those cars are EVs. There's a Xiaomi SU7, there's an Avatar, and then that black car in the very front is a 7X. So every time I saw a 7X, I got pretty excited to see my own car out there in the wild. So but just an amazing array of electric cars. I mean, like you said, the Beijing Auto Show had hundreds of models, but that's what you see on the roads too, you know. And when you catch a Didi, which is like the Uber, they're all EVs, and it's particularly, in Shanghai, it's more than half of them are EVs. So, and it's quieter and. I mean, hopefully we are headed towards that way. That one thing did reinforce to me that to see China, how developed and how progressed they are with the technology. It's only a matter of time before we catch up to them, I think.
I can't get a feeling. Was that hot? Or what was the temperature like when you were there?
It wasn't that. It was just start. So it was spring basically. It looks hazy, but it was basically the weather. So Ningbo, Guangzhou are kind of on the coast and. It's almost like a bit tropical, and I didn't actually have a lot of sun there. It was rainy.
Yeah, it's not smoggy. It's just sort of just overcast.
Yeah, it's just the weather. It's just kind of the atmosphere, like the humid weather, basically. So, but it was. But a lot of us, we were just happy spotting EVs. That's a lot of time we were just going around. I've just started loading.
I should have checked. I should have checked and get some impression of how many Zeekr 7Xs they've sold in China. But did you get some information on that? I can't. I guess I got no recollection.
Yeah, I know that it is one of it has sold really well there. It's been out for about 3 years, I think. Zeekr itself existed for 5 years.
Yeah.
So they started with a 001. That's kind of the Halo model. That's their sportback, kind of sporty one.
Yeah.
And they brought out the X, which is the mini one, which they just had an upgrade on, and we've got that one now. It's some big improvements on that one. And then the 009, which is the van, and then the 7X, and now the GT. So I don't know the numbers, but they've done pretty well. It's interesting. You see a lot of 009s, the vans being used as chauffeur vehicles driving around. Yeah. So I saw a lot of 009s as well.
Yeah, they're selling a few here. Like the numbers are good here for 150,000, whatever it is. The numbers are good here. I wouldn't mind being driven around in one. That'd be perfect. That'd be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I'm thinking of getting one to do the lap, and that'd be awesome. Like plenty of space there, and converting it into a camper van. So I'm sure Twiggy would.
So just reiterating, Stan was paid for by Zeekr. I'm not sponsored by Zeekr, but we're happy to support this and get excited about this trip from first time in China, because it is you hear so much and it is absolutely amazing to see. And your photos, just I mean this one here, this looks like you're superimposed. It looks like so you've made it to Shanghai now. Mm.
Yeah, so I made it to Shanghai. I stayed in the Peace Hotel, which is one of the most amazing hotels. Like, it has a lot of history. It's right there on the Bund, which is the waterfront. So every time I walked out the front door, there were about 15 people taking photos of just the front entrance of the hotel. That's the hotel with the green roof. That's the Shanghai skyline. Yeah, that's the Peace Hotel with the.
Okay. It looks like a cartoon. Like it's.
Yeah, it doesn't look real. You can see all the. Yeah, it looks like something out of Disneyland or something. But then you can see all the people. Like, it was so busy there. Like, even on a Monday and Tuesday night, and it wasn't even a holiday or anything. But there's just so many like tourists there, basically, right? So, and then I went up to the Pearl Orient Tower, which is that big tower, and got a view of the whole city. And just enjoyed the food and like the food stalls, and had some great meals, and it was
it's good.
Amazing experience just to see Shanghai itself. I
know it's never enough time on holiday. And that one there, this is curious. Tell I had to just put this one in because I get no idea what this is.
That's a glass sculpture bird that's in the lobby of the Peace Hotel. So the hotel was amazing. It's like a 5-star hotel. It's been there since the 1920s. It's shut for a long time, all through like the 50s and 60s, and then they've reopened it. But yeah, the bird in the lobby was, I thought it was photo worthy, but definitely a highlight to stay in that hotel and see it. So
any more questions for Stan before we wrap it up? What was your biggest highlight, Stan? I mean, from the car front. Let's stay with cars, not from the tourist perspective, but with the cars. Yeah.
I'd have to say seeing the car factory. That was pretty special. That was a privilege just to see that, and for them to be open to us to show up. And just hanging out with all us crazy Aussies and getting to see it. No, it was huge fun.
And then I guess on the other side, the food might be a highlight as well. On the
I mean, like I said, they really pulled out all the stops, and the whole thing was just really well run. They took us everywhere. That was definitely the highlight. Yeah.
And anything else you'd like to add before we wrap it up?
I've just started, just a bit of a selfless plug kind of thing. I have started loading the videos up, so if you want to watch me, my experience there, and then on my own thing, I'm about to be organising a drive in Adelaide for Zeekr owners, and 30 people have signed up, so we're going to go up to the Adelaide Hills. That's next weekend, and then on June 12th, I set off on my lap. I'm going to do it counterclockwise this time. Try and stop in and see some of the people that I met on the tour, but really looking forward to that. There's nothing like just seeing the country unfold in front of you in 4 weeks. And my big thing is kind of dispel the myths about range anxiety and that, EVs are only for the city. I love doing EV road trips, and I'm really looking forward to doing it again.
No, that's brilliant.
There's been, when I did it a year and a half ago in the Polestar, I was the 41st person to have done it, and now there's been 64, and we're hoping that there's about maybe 100 by the end of the year. So, within the next 12 months.
That's still an exclusive. That's still an exclusive club. That's worth a get together as well for the people who've done that trip. But no, brilliant. And look, a big thanks to Zeekr for supporting you as well. I mean, it is fantastic. Brilliant car, brilliant technology, brilliant company. But yeah, look, I've been quietly tracking their progress for the last couple of years. X started slowly, and then the 7X has just taken off. It's and everyone's got behind it, and clearly, brilliant car. So, looking forward to what's coming from Zeekr as well. Look, hey, thanks, Stan. Absolutely great to have you back again.
Can we, Twiggy, come?
Where is he?
Come on.
Live television. There he is.
There she is.
Say hello. Oh, there's she.
My
bad for.
This is your mic. Twig up. There she is.
Good night, Stan. Good night, Twiggy.
Thank you, Rosco. Thank you, Zeekr.
See you in Sydney one day.
See you on the road.
That's Stan from Kangaroo Island, just back from China. What a great trip. I mean, we hear so much about it. It is absolutely amazing. That's all for tonight. Great to see you, and thanks for joining us. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Murray. Thanks, Hal. Thanks, everybody. We've got to almost 21 viewers tonight, so don't be shy. We're here for a chat, and we'll be back next Wednesday, and look forward to catching you then. I'm Rosco, and we'll see you next time.